Alright, so today I'm back with yet another chapter review, and today we will go over chapter 250, which is insane. And I know that I always say that in the beginning, but trust me, this time it's even crazier, so be sure to stick till the end, because you don't want to miss it. Okay, so we begin chapter 250 by going into Isagi's mind for a quick second. He looks at the PXG team and says that they both have an offense built around Shido, and also an offense built around Rin. With Karasu and Zantetsu helping Shido and Nanase and Tokimitsu helping Rin, Isagi is looking more serious than ever as he says that even though they prepared countermeasures against both systems, they couldn't predict that they would deploy both systems simultaneously. Comparing it to playing a new video game whose degree of difficulty is entirely unknown, therefore the title of this chapter is unknown. Anyway, PXG has a throw-in and it's Choppa who does it. He throws it so that it lands with Tokimitsu, who's already in a battle with Grim. Reichi tells the bastard Munchen team that they better not slack off on the defense, or he will personally kick their ass, Hiyori adds in, by telling them to not lower the backline, but instead lower PXG's options. Isagi is looking at this from afar, saying that everyone understands the situation and is adjusting on the fly, but on the same time, they are barely holding on. Tokimitsu, Nanase and Karasu pass each other, which ensures that the ball stays with them. After that, we go back to Isagi again, who thinks that on top of adjusting to their formation, the most important thing for them is not to let Charles get his chance to roam around and play freely. And it's crazy to think that Charles is the league's youngest playmaker or even player. Charles is up against Reichi, and we can see in his eyes that he is planning something devious. Isagi is looking at the other players on the team saying that the others also know that as soon as Charles has the ball, PXG's offense shifts to an entirely different level, which is why Reichi, Kiora, and Hiroi is constantly keeping their eyes on Charles. But suddenly, Isagi notices that something is off. He sees that Charles is actively looking for the ball, but realizes that the timing is off, and that Reichi isn't looking at the ball right now, which means that Charles will soon try to get the upper hand. Isagi says that he knows this for a certain, as he thinks that Charles without a doubt also has meta vision. And just look at that, Isagi was spot on, as when Reichi went to look at the ball, Charles took his chance to get behind him and to get himself free. Shiguma saw this and was able to get off a pass towards Charles. Isagi knows that if the pass goes to Charles, then they will be in big trouble, as it will open up tons of attacking opportunities for PXG. And just therefore, he is determined to not let that happen, as he looks at the timing off both the ball and Charles to then get right in between them and stop the pass from reaching Charles. Isagi thinks that he was right on the money and is ready to go back out there, however Charles is just looking at him from the side, making such a silly face, which just makes me smile for some reason. Anyway, Charles is impressed by Isagi and says that he is terrific, and also says something in France which I translated to Mr. Ahoge, but I'm not sure what that is supposed to mean, and Isagi isn't too sure either, as he looks really confused and lost. Isagi then thinks that he's actually rather fond of Charles's hairstyle, which is a bit random to think about in the middle of a football game, but sure. Charles then asks Isagi if he has those eyes, which makes him see the same thing that Charles does, basically just confirming to us that Charles has meta vision, which was to be expected to be fair. We then see Grim and Ness's trading passes with each other, and as that is going on, Charles tells Isagi that he likes to play a tactician over a physical brute, and tells Isagi to do it and to see which one of them is able to control this match. Isagi seems a bit frustrated as he just calls Charles a cheeky, arrogant little brat, which is spot on. Anyway, Ness shoots a long pass over to his master Kaiser, who controls it flawlessly. Ness is a bit behind, but he thinks that it's finally time to initiate their plan. Ness then thankfully explains the plan to us, as he says that after simulating PXG's attack, they predicted that Isagi is going to drop back more to help out on the defense, and while he deals with their attacks, Kaiser, Grim and himself will pick up any loose balls and instantly hit them on the counter. They will swiftly break through the midfield, and Ness will then provide the final pass with a little bit of extra magic, of course. Anyway, as Ness, Grim and Kaiser get closer to the goal, Tokimitsu comes in his way and looks extremely scared, which I always find really funny. Tokimitsu tells Ness that he has already managed to catch up to him. Ness is shocked, thinking that he blocked of the passing lane and thinks if he should take him on and blow right past him, but he throws that idea to the side as he knows that he can't waste time on him, as if he does, then Isagi will read them. Before he can finish his thought, he sees Zantetsu sprinting with everything that he possibly can towards him. Zantetsu is just about to reach him, and Ness knows that he has to act quickly. He calls Tokimitsu and Zantetsu imbeciles before he somehow manages to get off the pass to Kaiser. Kaiser traps it with his chest and says that it was perfect, and tells them to leave the rest to him. But just then, both Nanas and Karasu comes in his way. Both is as determined as the other to stop Kaiser. Karasu asks Kaiser to show him what he's got and calls him a mediocre royal highness, but Nanase just tells Karasu to back off and that Kaiser is his. However, for some reason, Kaiser doesn't look too worried about it. He says that 2 defenders quickly move in to block his shot and calls it a textbook move. After that, he spots Shiguma in the back and says that another defender is hanging back just in case he breaks through, and with that says that he has seen through their little plan and that it's finally time to destroy them all. He starts to run towards them, and Karasu tries to take his hand to stop Kaiser, but Kaiser just kind of deflects Karasu's hand, which looks so silly. In the meantime, Nanase tries to snatch away the ball from Kaiser, but then Kaiser drags it behind him. And just as he is battling with both of them, he sees a small opening in the goal. He finally says that it's his win, and starts to do his Kaiser impact point. However, he suddenly realizes that he didn't shoot the ball, and that Rin had instead grabbed it when Kaiser was unaware. Rin calls Kaiser a lukewarm blue rose, and Kaiser, Ness, and Isagi is just as confused to what has happened. But Rin says that if he can destroy that precious shot of Kaiser, then he's nothing. Rin now has the ball, and is actually looking cooler than I've ever seen him. He's got some kind of aura around him, which makes him look invincible. And with Rin having control of the ball, Isagi says that he's coming. The text at the bottom says, Kaiser shakes off Karasu and Nanase, but at the last second, Rin swoops in and steals the ball, preventing the Kaiser impact. As the action swings back in the other direction, all eyes are now on Blue Lock's number 1. Alright, let's get into this monster of a chapter. I really like how Isagi just shut down Charles in the beginning, and I also like how Charles made it into a competition between the two of them to see which one of them is able to control the game the best. It's kind of like what Isagi did to Nico in the first selection. And no, I haven't gotten over how goofy Charles looks in this panel right here, and I don't think I ever will, to be honest. Anyway, now, let's talk about the superstar of this chapter, which of course is Blue Lock number 1, Itoshi Rin. Before Rin came, and we saw that Kaiser had an opening, I was sure that we were going to see the first goal of the series, so I was so shocked when I saw that Rin had somehow swooped in and taken the ball from Kaiser's feet. I don't know what it is, but Rin looks so incredibly cool right now. Just the pose he did, and then followed by this panel, when we see his absolutely crazy aura, is honestly mind-blowing. And to think that it's Rin's time to go on the offensive is insane. And I'm not sure if I can wait a whole more week to see what is going to happen, but I guess we have no choice.